Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for the ultimate goalie experience. Brought to you by the Irish Ice Wall himself. Now sure, hockey may seem complicated, but you've never seen hurling, so I've got this whole thing all figured out. Kind of like buying real estate. You see, hockey is all about strategy, precision, and of course, a little bit of luck. You gotta twist and turn, be aware of every move. Kind of like buying your first home. Sure, you may think you know what you're doing, but who can really predict the market? Me? You can rest assured with me guarding the net that victory is as certain as finding an affordable home in a trendy neighborhood. Oh. Guess I need more help than I thought. Great shot, kid. Maple Ridge. You don't get more Canadian than here. A place that oozes family values and good, clean fun. Which is why today, we're teaming up with realtor duo ChaseShymkiw and Jeremy McCarthy so that they can take us through all their experience of living and selling in the Ridge. We'll be going from Osprey Village to Silver Valley and the growing community of Albion, so we can discover everything that you need to know about living in Maple Ridge. Just keep your eyes peeled, because there may be some locations that look more familiar than you think. Chase, thank you so much for coming on this adventure with us today. We are in Maple Ridge, somewhere that I think you have a personal connection to, if I'm not mistaken.
Born and raised in Northwest Maple Ridge, I now reside in Silver Valley. Lived in Silver Valley now for about 6 years.
Why did you never have the desire to leave Maple Ridge?
So Maple Ridge has had a lot to offer for me, and part of it was I got into real estate at a young age when I was around 20. It just made sense for me to stay here. Plus, I love the community. It's a very family-friendly, family-oriented community. I have a family now. I've always kind of just pictured me growing up, raising my family here on the same streets that I used to play road hockey on as well, right?
You don't do it by yourself as well, if I'm correct. You have a team of people that help.
Correct. So yeah, we built out a really good team here in Maple Ridge. I have a partner, Jeremy McCarthy, and he's been in it just as long as I have. I've been in it for 14 years, and he's probably been in it about 15 to 16 now. We teamed up over 10 years ago, and we built out a great team that works together and knows the area well.
Chase, I have thoroughly enjoyed chatting, but we need to go get some feet on the ground. And I hear Osprey Village is one of these great places that blends the line between Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows.
Just a beautiful spot here, and I'm excited to show you guys around, and you can check out some of the homes and some of the shops and scenery, and we'll go from there.
Looking forward to it. Chase, you said we were doing a tour of Maple Ridge today, but I kept seeing signs for Pitt Meadows.
Yes, so we are doing a tour of Maple Ridge, but I thought we'd do a quick stop here in Pitt Meadows, specifically Osprey Village. So this is in the south side of Pitt Meadows. It borders the river, the Golden Ears Bridge, as well as Maple Ridge itself. So this area is a mixed use area. So as you see on the right side and the left side here, we all have shops along the bottom. And the majority of these shops are all family owned. So there's no big chains down here. And then above, we actually have some residential, surrounded by residential as well.
So once we get further out from Osprey Village, what would you expect to find in property around here?
So majority of the housing around here is town housing or row housing, non-strata. And then as we go out a little further, you get into the bigger detached homes as well. So it's a small community, and typically the demand is high. So there's low turnover here. And I think the big reason is a lot of people get here and they like the community feel, so they stay here.
Which means if places are opening up here, you got to snap them up fast.
Correct. They're going quick. They're going quick. Anything that usually hits the market, unless it's grossly overpriced, is turning over quick with low turnover in general.
Well, what about this particular street here? Like, there's some fabulous shops around the place, and this building here, I think, has a personal connection to you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that is the South Bonson Community Center. And we actually did a first-time buyer seminar there when we first started in real estate, probably about 12 years ago. And we had a very small turnout. We probably only had about 6 to 10 people.
Oh, you got to start somewhere though, right?
Exactly. And funny enough, 2 of those people are actually still clients of mine. So maybe it did actually work out.
That is so cool to hear. Chase, thank you so much for taking me here. It's so cool to see such a unique village. Next on the tour, I believe it's Silver Valley?
Correct. Next on the tour, I'm going to take you to Silver Valley, which is where I currently reside and have been for 6 years. I'm very excited to show you around and the community up there.
Ah, cool. So why is it called Silver Valley?
Maybe it's because they didn't find gold.
Nice. Walking around Osprey Village felt oddly familiar, like I've seen it before somewhere. Which is why it made complete sense when Chase told me that the village is actually the backdrop for tons of Hallmark movies every year. I mean, why bother building a set of a quaint, picturesque village when you have the real thing less than an hour's drive from downtown Vancouver? Chase, what is it that you like about being a realtor?
I don't know if there's one thing I like. I think it's a combination of everything. I can truly say that I do love what I do. I think it's working with people, right? I'm lucky to have a very good clientele. I have a lot of repeat families, repeat customers, but even my new clients, first-time buyers, families, downsizers, a lot of the people I work with are just good people.
Osprey ain't the rage, so we're packing up and heading further north to Chase's stomping ground, Silver Valley, to see firsthand what kind of properties are available if you want to move here today. What kind of homes are there here in Silver Valley?
So Silver Valley ranges a lot. Silver Valley is one of the areas that I think has grown the most in the last 5 years. Home sizes here range anywhere from 2,800 to 4,000 square feet and are anywhere from brand new to about 15 years old.
Which is interesting because we saw some of those new builds happening as we drove in.
Yeah, so at the top of the street here, we actually have two different types of new builds. You have a townhouse site, and then you have a row housing non-strata site as well. So it's quite diverse in what it brings here.
And who are the people then that are coming in and getting these types of homes?
In general, it's a lot of family, a lot of working class. Some people are commuting, some people are working home, but it's growing families, not necessarily investors who live here. Mortgage helpers are very common in these newer areas with two-story with basement homes. We don't have a lot of laneway homes in Maple Ridge, but we do have a lot of mortgage helpers.
What about the views I'm seeing here? Because this is stunning. I don't think I've ever seen a view like this before.
Yeah, there's some amazing views, especially when you go up further. You have amazing views of Golden Ears and even Vancouver and the sunset from a lot of these homes.
Chase, I'm curious. Why did you choose Silver Valley?
Well, there's two major reasons. The first is we really love the area. We love the greenery, the views as we touched on, and the family-oriented neighborhoods. And the second was we had an opportunity to build our house, right, with a great local builder. So we were able to get the best of both worlds there.
It's really interesting to compare a smaller master plan community like Osprey with the abundance of retail that's available versus a kind of family-driven neighborhood like we have here in Silver Valley, where the focus is more on community, privacy, space. I just can't wait to see what we got next.
Yeah, so next I'm going to take you over to Albion, which is another beautiful community with lots to offer.
It's so fascinating that there's so much going on in Maple Ridge. It kind of seems like there's stuff for everyone here.
There really is.
While Silver Valley may be lacking in the actual rare metal of its namesake, it's safe to say the neighbourhood is worth its weight in gold. The views, the larger lot sizes, and the sense of community are so cool to see. It really felt like a place that you could put down some roots. What do people usually think of in your experience when you say Maple Ridge?
We don't have big infrastructure like shopping malls or a bunch of restaurant chains, but we have a greenery, a lot of trails. We have Golden Ears Park, which has Alouette Lake, and then in Pitt Meadows, we have Pitt Lake as well.
It kind of sounds like Maple Ridge is a little bit more back to those family values that we heard about while we were all growing up, you know?
Yeah, and that's really what Maple Ridge embraces, right? It hasn't grown into a big city where you have skyscrapers or, 10-story concrete buildings. We see people moving from the city, from Greater Vancouver, from Fraser Valley, and they're coming to Maple Ridge because they want a bit more bang for their buck. They want a family home, they want a yard, they want somewhere that kids can go to school and play and be local.
One of the great things about moving further out of the city of Vancouver is the diversity you can find in a single community, which is why Chase wanted to take me to the neighbourhood of Albion to show me how they're doing things a wee bit differently to how Silver Valley are, and why you might prefer one over the other.
So now we've arrived in Albion, which is another family-oriented community. And some of the key focuses here are sports. This is where you'll find all the sports diamond, Planet Ice hockey rinks and Albion Fairgrounds, where the majority of the community events and festivals are held.
You say it's a sports-centric community. You ever play on this diamond?
I actually have played on this particular diamond and a lot of the diamonds around and even the hockey rinks down there.
It's the kind of experience you can't get from an out-of-town realtor, is it?
No, I mean, obviously we know the neighborhoods, the streets, and even the parks inside and out.
You have mentioned family like 20 times today, but what's it actually mean for these communities?
The reason I mention that is because we're seeing a lot of families come out here to grow. And with that, that brings good walk scores, very good elementary schools, very good high schools. All of that is complemented with the trail systems and the parks that we have that ties all these families together. So you're seeing a lot of families move out here who are living in the homes and raising their families here and watching their kids go from elementary school to high school in these same communities.
What about the properties in Albion? How are they going to differ from what we see in Silver Valley or anywhere else in Maple Ridge?
So very comparable to Silver Valley as far as the size of homes and the size of the lots, but just a little bit older. With that said, there's still a lot of new construction in Albion happening. So you can still get a newer home or a semi-custom home here in the Albion area. As our population grows and these areas like Albion and Silver Valley continue to develop, yes, Maple Ridge has said that it wants to continue to grow and balance with the infrastructure.
It's really interesting to see how sports-centric Albion is and how different that can actually be from Silver Valley and the other places we've been today. Chase, where are we going to next?
So next I'm going to take you to the Crest development. You're going to talk to Jeremy McCarthy, who's the other half of our team.
That sounds great. Let's go see it then.
Let's go check it out.
All right, so how many home runs did you actually hit on here?
Probably more than an Irishman did.
So how was it today driving around with Chase?
He is an interesting character. A lot of self-belief in his baseball abilities, but you won't hold it against him. Jeremy, this is phase one?
Yeah, phase one of what the Crest is a single-family home portion of Kanaka Springs, built by Epic Homes. They've built a ton of homes in the Albion area, but all through Maple Ridge and a bit in the Lower Mainland.
It's so interesting when a developer has such longevity within a community. It seems like they can speak to the community better than most
they
people.
got a good feel for what the community entails, and they try to get a lot of park and green space around a lot of their developments because
It's Maple
what
Ridge.
people expect from Maple Ridge, right? So
How does something like this in Maple Ridge compare to somewhere like Burke Mountain?
I think out here, you're getting a lot more of the nature kind of surroundings and that as opposed to just view. Here you get a bit of everything.
We are talking about this community and it's so evident to see the passion that you and Chase have for it. What do you feel is the future for Maple Ridge?
I think it's a lot more of the same. I think it's always going to have a bit of the same demographic of good place to raise your family and that it's safe, it's pretty quiet, there's lots of good schools. It's not as small town as it once felt like.
I mean, small town, I feel, they always cyclical, things change, but those values staying the same?
Yeah, I think it's still gonna, even as it grows and as it expands, it still is always kind of kept a certain type of feel to being out here and that. So hasn't really changed so far. I think it'll all always keep somewhat of that same sort of
charm.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good word.
What is it that you love about real estate?
I just really like to be a part of the whole experience and those steps in people's lives, whether it be starting a family or buying their first place or downsizing or any of that. I think it's a cool part to be involved with. It's such a big factor in people's lives, and I just enjoy being a part of that.
Thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And
So, how did things go in here, guys?
absolutely brilliant.
Pretty good.
I was just saying thank you to both you guys for taking the time today to show me around Maple Ridge. I really appreciate it. I found it so cool seeing Silver Valley, all development happening there, this particular home and everything that is to come, as well as Osprey and how picturesque that place is. I just have one question though.
All right.
Which of you guys is the better hockey player?
I am.
I'll give him credit on that one.
All right, well, it doesn't actually matter because I'm useless anyway, so Chase, You ready to teach me some hockey?
Let's go do it.
Let's go. Now, what the heck is a hockey puck anyway? Right? Maple Ridge. Up until now, you have been a town that I drove around on my way to Golden Ears. And boy, oh boy, have I been missing out. If you're looking for a quintessential Canadian community full of street hockey, nature, and great people, then this is the place for you. Today's tour really highlighted the value of living life at your pace, and not the one set by your environment. Who better to personify this than Chase and Jeremy, two locals who have built their whole life here. They and their team are committed to giving back to the community and showing off all that life in the Ridge has to offer. It also highlighted that hockey may not be my sport, but hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just a shame Chase didn't miss a single one of his during this game.